Hello and welcome to another quality production brought to you by Cornbeef Incorporated. I'm your host, Big Daddy Cornbeef, and today on Cornbeef Talks, we will be talking about video games. What's y'all's favorite video game? I believe mine would, well, it's hard to pick a single favorite, but I think my favorite genre of video games would definitely be the old school video games like I'm playing Doom here. I decided to start off with a game that I am very good at. You know, I don't mean to brag, but I am pretty good at this game. I'm totally bragging right now. But anyway, I do want to apologize about the audio. If you can just ignore that, ignore the audio lag, and focus on my voice for your audio pleasure, then, you know, that would be appreciated. Absolutely nothing I can do to fix that. That's just game DVR at its finest. So yeah, video games. I've been playing video games since I was about 2 or 3, I think. Starting off on, you know, stuff like Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and, you know, all the good classics. I guess that's why I value classics so much. They just have such a nostalgia factor. And not to mention these newer video games, you know, like Battlefront and Battlefield and COD and State of Decay, you know, all these games. It's shit that's been done before. It's like video games just keep repeating themselves. I thumb through Game Informer magazine every month. I'm subscribed to that, and I thumb through that every month, and like there's nothing new or original coming out. You know what I'm saying? Agony was pretty original. I've never seen a horror game like that based in hell. Of course, you have this game. It was based in hell, and at the time it was considered a horror game. You know, Doom 3 kind of kicked up the horror a little bit, but this is a little more fast-paced, especially with the music on. A lot of people like to play with the music off, and they say that makes it scarier, but I've never found the classic Doom scary in one bit. But, you know, to each his own. I guess at the time, I can see how it could have been pretty scary, since this was, you know, the most graphically enhanced shit they had back then. You know, just the whole idea of the hordes of hell rising up and, you know, raising hell on Earth. And, yeah, I can see how that was a pretty scary concept at the time. You know, we've just gotten so, as a society, we've grown so used to seeing things like this in video games that, you know, it's really not that bad anymore. My little sister will play Alien Isolation. Of course, I probably shouldn't be letting her play that shit, but, you know, whatever. I played gory video games as a kid, and, you know, I turned out alright, I think. So, anyway, my little sister will be playing Alien Isolation, and, like, she'll just be laughing at the alien. I mean, it don't even disturb her one bit. Like, she's just, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, she takes that as a complete joke, of course. You know, who does, I mean, she's a little girl, but, so it should be scary to her, but, you know, it never was scary to me. I never cared for Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought it was kind of cheap, using the whole jump scare tactic. I guess they were just working with what they had at the time. I understand that, you know, a small little indie company like them probably doesn't have a lot of tactics to work with, so they have to use jump scares a lot doesn't have a lot of tools and shit like that to work with. Sort of lost track of what I was saying. I don't listen to myself talk sometimes, so that's why I veer off a lot and repeat myself. But, you know, I just hope that somebody finds this shit entertaining. You know, I'm here to please. I'm here to make y'all's day a little brighter. So, yeah, the super shotgun here, man. I absolutely love this gun. My favorite gun in all of Doom, even Doom 3. In Doom 3, the normal shotgun, the standard shotgun, is really shitty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I found myself never using it. But the super shotgun on Doom 3 is, like, the best. Super shotgun, anytime it makes appearance in a Doom game, it has to be, like, the best gun. So, yeah, man, just... I like playing these old school nostalgic games, you know. They're they really just, you know, they really, it hit home for me, I guess. I just absolutely love them. They're my favorite type. They're my favorite kind of video game, and to me, they're the funnest. I think video games have become too easy as well. Stuff like Call of Duty, you know, you got auto aim, and that just completely ruins the experience. I always turn my auto aim off. Video games used to be a more competitive thing. Like, you look at a game like this, there are some people that really suck at Doom, and there's people that are really good at it, and it takes skill to be really good at it as well. It takes a lot of practice running through the levels multiple times, trying to find all the secrets and everything, and you know, just getting it down. It's really games like this were in some ways a puzzle game, because you know it really just takes practice and knowing the right tactics to run through the level and complete it in, you know, as I'm doing here, you know, in a good way, you know, in a good, fast, skillful way. You have to have skill to do shit like this. And that's what I really love about classic video games and why I'm so obsessed with them, because it takes more skill to play classic video games. Video games these days, they hold your hand too much. You know, that's why I fell so in love with The Long Dark, I think, because it drops you in, and at least you used to. It has a tutorial now, but used to, it didn't even have a tutorial. It drops you in, and you just do it or you die, period. And I absolutely love that, you know. It pushes self-learning on you, like, hey, learn the mechanics of our game by your damn self. I mean, look at Doom. Doom didn't have no tutorial, you know what I'm saying? Then again, back then, games were pretty straightforward. Obviously, it gives you a gun, and, you know, you press a button to shoot, you figure out what button that is, and you go at it. Games are a little more technical these days, I'll admit, but, you know, now some games do need tutorials, like The Witcher, Skyrim, you know, games like that, games really high technical RPG type games, they do need tutorials, but basic games like Call of Duty and, you know, what else? Basically every other game. I'm trying to think of a specific game that has a long, drawn-out, needless tutorial, but, you know, you see the point that I'm trying to make here. Games just hold your hand too much these days, and I really hate that, you know? I think the games should just go back to the way they were, just like The Long Dark, you know? It basically just dropped you in and said, hey, you know, learn the game and survive. And I really love that. And it's a that's a very cool concept for any video game. You know, if you're making a video game, don't hold your player's hand, because that just ends in a bad experience. At least for most people. You know, these little kids playing games these days, though, you know, you get on GTA Online on Xbox One, and it's just a bunch of 5-year-olds, man. That's another thing. Toxic communities. That's one thing that I can't stand in games. But all of a sudden, this has turned into a Cornbeef rants video. But I guess it's kind of a mix of both. I was talking about it, and now I'm ranting about it. But you know, you get on GTA 5 and it's just a bunch of 5-year-olds, and it's so toxic, and everybody just wants to fuck each other over, and I hate online communities like that. I think that single-player games are too disregarded. I think there needs to be more single-player games, you know? You know, don't knock a good single-player game. Just something with a good story, and, you know, just that's fun for one person to sit back and enjoy, or couch co-op. Couch co-op is dying off as well. I think the games really need to go back to the way they used to be. But you know, that's why I tend to veer more towards the classics, like original Xbox games and early 360 games, you know, stuff like that. And I really wish I had a Nintendo. If I had a Nintendo and Doom 64, I would never stop playing that shit. But yeah, so there was my little rant for this video. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Video games have always been such a huge part of my life, and you know, people always saying video games cause violence, and I think that those people are stupid. You know, just to be frank. Video games don't cause violence. I've been playing violent video games since I was little, and I've never felt the urge to hurt anybody, or you know, I have never felt inspired by a video game to do any kind of violence or wrongdoing. Because I know the difference between visual on a TV screen and real life, you know. And that's like blaming movies. I mean, people blame movies too, I guess, but it's this whole blaming video game thing has really exploded in the recent years. And there goes the audio. That means the video is about to end. So yeah, I guess that will just about do it for this video on Corned Beef Talks. Guys, just have a very, very blessed day. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like and subscribe button, and just take it easy. Peace.